Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Erudition Generations. Today, we have another full house with me and my brothers
Hey
on
everybody.
today.
Hello.
Please excuse the names. We tried all that we could to figure that out. It is what it is.
Yeah,
So, today's topic, y'all want to discuss the advancement of technology from me, Papo, and all the way down to Elliot and Matthew. Because
They were. Oh wait, they were.
because when me and Papa were coming up, we didn't have computers. Our very first electronic was a toy computer from V Smile. You remember that, Papa?
yeah, we played that thing to death.
Right, literally. The mouse. And it wasn't one of those mice that you could just roll your finger on, and it was a pad. No, it was one of those mice that you have to make sure the ball is moving, and if it wasn't moving, that mouse was not moving.
Oh, like that one.
Yes, and it was a toy, and so it really didn't do everything that we wanted, but we sure did play with it. But that's back in the generation of Toys R Us, which is unfortunately
Shut down.
not necessarily shut down, but
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, it's still kind of going, but
online.
just
Yeah, in other states they are still going.
Not states,
Mhm.
Well,
countries,
Countries, yeah.
and that's in Canada. That's the last known one.
China. And then Europe.
Oh, technology evolving is a great topic. I like to touch on TikTok ban legislation being drafted. Yeah, that's a whole thing
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
a whole problem. Mostly because of the fact that it's we're not going to go too far into it. But what I will say about this is it's kind of weird because of the fact that the people Congress who was talking about all about the security and everything, people kept making fun of it, and even if you look now, people have made fun of the fact that most congressmen didn't even spell it right. They said Tic Tac or something instead of the actual name of TikTok. It was
Well,
it was absolutely amazing.
government officials aren't supposed to be able to use social media platforms like that because that is a threat to national security. But the thing is, they want to ban something that they don't really know, and they're asking crazy questions such as, "Oh, can TikTok connect to the Wi-Fi? Okay, does your car connect to the Wi-Fi? It has a hotspot."
And then they say like,
But the real reason that I think it's crazy is because remember when all those things were coming out during COVID with Nancy Pelosi getting her hair done, it was taken on TikTok. Everything was being posted on TikTok. It seems like they're afraid of the convenience of TikTok, of how you can easily just go on there, press a button, and it's out there.
Mm.
TikTok is no more dangerous than Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If it is so bad, why is it cutting out again? Why did Facebook buy them to compete with TikTok? Seems like the comments are going to be an issue again today. Papa, you can see them on yours, right?
Yep, actually.
mhm.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, sometimes it does that. It To address what Dad said, yeah, it is no more dangerous than TikTok. TikTok is no more dangerous than Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. It is a social media platform that everybody utilizes to make their voice heard or for them to be seen in some type of way. And the fact that we are trying to ban that is very stupid. Do I think it will succeed for the sake of First Amendment right? I hope not, because it is your First Amendment right to say whatever you want, do what you will, and it doesn't really threaten national security in the way that they are trying to make it. They demonize things that they don't understand because that is unfortunately
The world.
exactly
Yeah.
what the world we're in today.
I have not said anything for these 5
How
minutes.
helpful were toys back then compared to the toys of Elliot Matthews' day? Teddy? Oh, my bad. I was reading it in my head, but my mic is now.
Helpful were the
Okay,
toys
yeah.
back then to compare it to the toys of Matthew and Elliot.
You start. Then
Well, for that, I think we're going to the toys that we went into, and then y'all can touch on y'all. So, Matthew and Elliot, y'all think of a toy that goes along with this one. Papa, remember the L Max?
Mm-hmm.
The Leapster L Max had the pen, and you would start. All you would be doing is learning math or reading, depending on what you put on the cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
Those were learning games assigned for us. But when the DS came out shortly after, that's what replaced our Leapster L Max. Not
Yeah.
really, but it's
I was
mainly
gonna
because
say DS, but it was around when you and Teddy were born too. So
No, that was pretty much in you and Matthew's time.
you were the
But I have one. Technically, it isn't a game or a toy, like because you access it on the computer. It is a website. Why did I just start with that? But we have educational websites at Twitter are also games that encourage you to learn.
the games. So
Like
I would say that the games from our compared to us were just as equally helpful, if not more, because ours, as he said, it wasn't web based. You can access any learning game that
Yeah,
you
but to
want.
be fair, ours we did have those CDs for the computer. We had several CDs that help with learning, reading,
Oh yeah,
counting, mathematics, and all that other stuff.
the PC games. But that's when
Hmm.
it was being introduced. Now with Matthew and Elliot, it's pretty common. You can go online and find the Dragon Tales game.
Exactly. So I would say that Elliot and Matthew's generation of education with technology is probably more superior to ours because all we really did back then was we didn't have much access to the internet, so it was pretty much if you think this is the answer to something and your parent or guardian believe it's also the answer, well, it's the answer because there's no one else you can ask. But Elliot and Matthew's generation, they have the actual web. So if they're like, I don't know if this is the answer, they can go to several different websites and actually see if that is the correct answer.
which makes sense. It's an information age. They grew up in the information age where ours would be games in school. And you had to actually go and get uh, a game to learn on. So, for instance, ours was Dragon Tales in grade 8 through 6, 6th through 8th grade math and reading for Crookie Alligator. So that's what we had. But for them, they could quite easily download something on their phone that says today's daily math tutorial or daily math session. And it will remind them, hey, you haven't been on here today. You may want to do this. And it pulls them back in. So they definitely have a more helpful set of toys than ours. And unfortunately, that's why I think that Toys R Us really left because everything was going into digital.
Well, to
Because
be
even
fair, it also
I
there's
remember
also the
when
fact that most of the sorry to cut you off, but most of the stuff there we didn't understand at the time, but was rather expensive Because think about it like this. As a kid ourselves, we didn't really think about money. You think about money like, oh, this is $1. I can go buy a candy bar right now.
I
What but
mean,
what
it's no different than $1,000 phone or computer, but it does have more advantages for just spending that much. So the thing is that yeah, it's a digital. Remember when we were getting the Wii system, the very first one, not the Wii U, the Wii system and Toys R Us was around. They wouldn't give you anything because they were a toy company. When they had that and they would have it in stock, it really wasn't all the warranties and stuff on it that you would have liked for it because it's a toy company. So everything went digital, and they're better off for it if they utilize it properly. We have a lot of gun violence. The most recent in Nashville, some say the violence in the video games is the cause. I grew with video games, as Eddie and Tina. Is the advance of technology the reason? No.
No.
Well,
I don't
actually,
know.
I guess you could kind of say that because y'all remember that story on the news about the boy who shot his mom because he didn't get a VR system.
yeah.
It doesn't stem
Well, the
directly
reason,
from video games, but it
yeah,
could be
but
related to video
ex-
games.
like what you said, it doesn't stem exactly from video games.
Okay, then I'll say yes and no, because as most video games that are popular is Minecraft, Fortnite, which is not really violent, and besides from the gun usage, which does not show blood, and Roblox, where you can make your own game.
No, not really. All of those are famous. Minecraft, I think, is the
Yeah.
most popular game right now. But it doesn't stem always from directly video games, but there is a few cases where video games do lead to violence. Like people rage over video games and they'll punch walls and injure themselves. So you could say
And it's
violence
it's for
can
that
stem from
reason
video
right
games.
there that no, I wouldn't say that the video games is the cause because what Eric said is video games the cause and the advancement of technology that created these games. No, it's not. Because as you said, he's getting mad over a game. He's doing this because of a game. You have the people that created the game. Let's look at Mortal Kombat, for example. Over the years, it has gotten progressively more
Violent.
gory and violent.
Yeah.
Certain moves that okay, this should have been a fatality is now a common move that's in the game. But the thing is, it's not the cause of violence. The creators were in themselves. You think they thought of those combos and thought, "Oh yeah, this way kill a person." No, they have those tendencies in you already. Even from studying psychology, you find, yeah, you have a level of violence. It's what you choose to enact on, what is rewarded, and what is discouraged. So the thing is, the reason that you're having a problem with gun violence right now is because you have done nothing to discourage the usage of guns.
And the reason why there are so many shootings out today is because of many e- gun usage in video games. Games, games even including with mods special things. And,
I don't want
and
to really say that
Well,
because
Matthew, I wouldn't really say that it's the fact that that gun violence is caused because of that. Because to be quite frank, it's not a possibility for that. Think about it like this: most guns in video games are, well, most of them are inaccessible to the public. Now, there are some that are, and which is highly stupid for a majority of reasons. But in reality, the fact is, most games that portray violence, they mostly do like Mortal Kombat, for instance. Most of the time, it's blades and stuff, blades, hands, fists, and all this. But to be fair, only a couple of people in that video game honestly use guns. And then in other video games, you're barely like Fortnite and stuff. Yeah, you're using guns, but at the same time, you're only using a gun because of the fact of its usefulness.
But
To be
what I'm
to
saying
be
is the thing is those people that created the games
Didn't intend for it to turn violent.
Well,
maybe,
obviously they
but the
did
thing is
because
that they
violence is a
also,
game tag.
if I were to say, hey, design this game, you know the destructive power of the gun, and like in Call of Duty, they know what a destructive power of a gun is. But they still put it in a game. The creators themselves, when they animated the death animation and the gun firing, they put their heads together and said, okay, this is what this would look like. This is what this is going to do. People that designed Mortal Kombat, they designed the combos to be just as graphic. They So that human violence is already there. But what I'm saying is that it is not discouraged. What I mean by that is that if you do not enact any gun laws, or if you're not punishing people severely enough to say, okay, well, there's no reason not to use a gun. And guess I'm looking at violence on a video game and on your movies.
Yeah, that only makes
May
them
as
further
well.
believe that may as well use a gun. So it doesn't stem directly from video games, but video game is a huge part of it and what they do.
Not even a huge part of it. It is only a contributing factor to a problem that was already in America.
Okay,
Yeah, but
let's.
that's the
So right
thing.
here,
People in
right,
video games, they like shooting people, and with your argument of it's a factor in a bigger problem, it it's way bigger than you would think, because a lot of people own violent games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, all that stuff. So, and they get ideas like GTA. There's been a few cases where people would abuse their family members when they lose games because they got mad or they thought, well, it was
yeah.
a good
So the
idea.
tendency to be violent is already there, and then you want to continue that feeling of dopamine, but
Yeah, so video
the
games
problem
can
is
cause
that
violence,
they do not.
especially in VR.
Yeah, but the
Because
same could be said about
Okay,
anything
let's
because,
get into
like
the
Teddy's,
comments.
Let's get
yeah,
into the
all right,
comments
all right.
before we spend an hour and a half.
Yeah, we know how that can be. Can you compare the difference between the learning games and they use different schools and the games of Papa? I'm gonna let you read it because it's breaking up on
can
my
you
end.
compare the differences between learning games and they use for school? Wait, what? It's cutting
They
out.
use for
Wait,
school, and
yeah,
and the games
oh,
you choose to play on your
Lord,
own.
forgive me.
I don't know
Well, to
what's
be
going
quite
on.
honest,
Let's spend 5
I'll just
I'm
read the
I'll
comment.
go into this one. Then y'all go ahead. But to be fair, the games we play on our own mostly persist. Well, how do I put this? The games we play on our own, such as let's go with Minecraft for instance. Minecraft is actually being used in some schools nowadays,
Yeah, because
which is
yeah,
absolutely incredible feat because of the fact that there is a Minecraft Education Edition, which shows science and everything. And
No,
because of
actually,
it,
that was coding.
yeah, and because of it, they're using it in schools as a means to teach kids how to learn. And then there's games such as some shooting games, but at the same time, as much as we want to say that it gives off negative impacts as well as other negative tendencies, it is a game that teaches you how to learn and adapt. Because you go like, oh well, this didn't work, so I'm going to have to figure out how this works, when this works, where it works. In
The same
reality, it's more of a conditioning to learn and then
yeah, because
adapt,
the same thing can
overcome, and so on and so forth.
speak.
the same thing can actually be said about Minecraft, because sometimes if you do redstone, um, sometimes stuff will fail, the thing will break. You'll learn,
Hmm.
adapt, have to overcome.
Yeah, that's what
Um,
he said about Minecraft.
Yeah, That's
That's
why
what I used to do.
Minecraft has an education mode. It's not as fun as Minecraft, but it's part of Minecraft.
Well, to be fair, it is
Yeah.
somewhat entertaining because of the fact that you're able to
Yeah,
do things in
even
it that you're
Minecraft
not.
has
Well,
violence in
not
it.
as bad. Minecraft's violence isn't as bad as you think it is, because
I
Even
mean, Minecraft is
cartoons,
pretty much Minecraft violence is pretty much based on necessity. Do you need to
even
eat?
cartoon violence is considered violence. In fact, on their thing when it says "E for everyone," the moment you turn on the game for Mojang, it says cartoonish violence. That's what that is.
And also, I would like to point out,
When you turn on Call of Duty, which is not really for kids, but it can be, it says PG-13. Is for which means you need to be under parental guidance, and they need to understand that you are able to play it. But if anything happens, the parent's going to be liable for it if you go crazy or do something stupid. That's where a lot of these cases are catching people up on. So the problem is, it's not really the problem with the game, but if you don't judge it properly on, can my child be fine with this? Probably not. Or, yeah, they should be fine.
yeah, and oddly enough, of people wanted one animal in Minecraft, but Minecraft decided, oh, they don't want to add that because they don't want people randomly going out and killing those animals. But nobody really does that, because where are you going to find a pig, sheep, and cow and
Well,
chicken?
I mean, if you're driving cross country,
No, we're
there's
not
kind
doing
of
this
some
Yeah.
again.
ways to find that.
Yeah. Also,
Talking about running
it's
over
not
cows,
just
chickens, sheeps.
And you can't do it without
it's
a
not really on the video game because it can contain violence and stuff, but it's your malicious intent that's gonna make you be like, yeah, I want to kill a pig in real life.
Yeah, so if anything, I would probably say it's a disassociation from reality,
Yeah,
as
and
well
it's
as.
only gonna get worse with the new VR systems and the higher
Mhm.
graphics, and people are gonna be like,
Well, I'll get into
maybe I
that in a
want to
minute.
become a mass
We'll
murderer.
get
Great
into that.
answer. With the level of technology advancing, do you think this will have an impact on jobs, which you all will soon? Will this have an impact on jobs? And if yeah, how so?
Oh,
Yes.
okay, let me answer this
The
first.
shot is kind of
First, it will affect many things because, as in the future, there will most likely be games or VR sets that will transfer data to your mind or something crazy. Yeah, and most jobs will be taken emphasized from new jobs like something a robot can't do because most jobs are getting and made well
Well, it like
okay.
this.
We losing them.
There's have y'all seen
Hold on.
those games in the Play Store? Even for like PlayStation, for Truck
Mhm.
Simulator, Plane Simulator,
Mm-hmm.
all these simulators, lawn mowing and all. There's things that will teach you how to do your job efficiently. So I do think that would play a very big role. It may not play a very big role, but it will definitely be a substantial role if you allow it to be, to perform these jobs. Medical students, if they want a surgery simulator, an accurate one, not the cartoonish funny one, you can do that too. So they will definitely help you with your impact your job if you allow it to, and if you support those people that make those games. That's a big part. A lot of people don't play those games, so the developer is discouraged and they don't really make enough.
Yeah, but to be fair, if anything, because I'm going to combine your idea with Matthew's. To be quite honest, it is pretty cool because we're coming into an age of technology where sure, robots might take over certain jobs, but
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
think about it like this. That also means we might come into an age because what if somebody's like, well, a human does this and a robot doesn't see fit for that to happen? What if we come into an age of technology where somebody's like, all right, you can control this robot from somewhere, and in other words, no more or dangerous night shifts, no more dangerous jobs. You can just be like, all right, you have this controller, you're going to control this AI to do such and such a job, and you'll still get paid for it. Right? Just make sure that the robot doesn't get damaged or anything, and if it does, explain to us in a report why. In other words, it would be pretty much a future where we're all affected by technology, but we also control it, so we're still getting paid. There's no need for people worrying about their jobs getting replaced because now all now humans don't really have to do the job. They just have to monitor and pretty much play a game while getting paid to do so.
So basically, we get lazier.
Pretty much, it would become the Wally
And,
universe.
Yep,
oh yeah,
exactly
and
like that.
and somebody actually mentioned, and not from this channel, but they actually did say humans would turn obese.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
obesity is a problem in America,
Yeah,
but
obesity
we'll
is
go
a
into that another whole day. That's another thing.
The risk is that people will lose their humanity and moral focus because they are removed from the reality of the actual job.
Well,
Which,
to be fair, that happens already because think about it like this. The reality of the fact is most people don't most people see themselves in a state of authority. Like for instance, cops for instance in this day and age. They are they're pretty much removed. They've moved themselves into a whole nother reality when they start telling. Because when they are in the news or something, they talk about how they were they were um they were trained to protect the community by all costs, and regardless of what that means. Same goes for senators, doctors. Everybody's put into their own little reality to be what they need to be. So, in all honesty, most people will already be in a different reality. But if you go ahead and be like, well, this is an AI, you're pretty much all that little reality stays into that screen. And then eventually, when you start moving, it's going to be like, well, yeah, this is a whole different reality. This is a whole different thing. You're not going to be sitting here or actually do, because that's where people get confused. If you're sitting in front of a screen, then once you get off the screen, you're going to immediately realize there's a difference. Like, oh, I'm able to, I feel myself breathing. I feel the ground under my feet. I can feel a lot more things than when
well,
I was sitting
I
in
think
front of that screen.
I think Eric asked you a question that goes along right with that. With the advent of AI, I noticed a lot of essays
Being written by AI programs. How do you view these programs, and is there a need to address them for school? See, I'll answer it first, because one,
Sure,
I wish
sure.
I had that before anybody else had that, because that would have been great. Because then I would have had a lot of stuff and had a lot of free time. But
You realize there's such thing as
yeah,
plagiarism.
yeah,
Some other academic integrity.
they invented a robot to
because
test
those
for
things, Elliot,
programs
they
written by
sit in the
AI.
cloud. Chegg, there's two websites actually that I know will do that. There's Chegg.
Yeah,
and
but there's this dude who's getting a bunch of hate now because he invented a thing to prevent plagiarism from AI, which is really impressive, but it's also like,
It's
dang,
simple. It's the I'm not a robot test, and if it doesn't pass, well,
you
you're
get expelled from school.
exactly. You get kicked.
And
Yeah,
No
pretty
more
much
college.
along the lines of that. But the reason being is that for the reason that Dad just said and that you addressed, technology could make you lose the sense of what it's like to actually perform that task. And
that's what keeps you fit.
and we took a VARC test. Some people are kinesthetic learners. They have to put their hands on it. If you do not actually perform that task, you're going to lose the ability to do it over time, and you don't want to.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that everybody should be replaced. Obviously, you should have some janitors that, for instance, I don't believe that every single person in the world should be replaced. You shouldn't have a robot sitting in front of a printer as well as doing paperwork. Because what's going to happen is eventually you're going to be like, this isn't right. This doesn't seem correct. You should have obviously a sprinkle of humans in the mix so that, because obviously you don't want to be like, this janitor robot, it didn't clean this place properly. This camera robot, it didn't look at what it needed to look at. This shelf stocking robot, it didn't stock the shelves properly. It put the $6 stuff into the $1 stuff.
Say that it is
and that's when
an
you
error
start to
for
realize
that.
the robots
The
are
thing
replacing
is
you.
that it's even things like that where people walk around in Walmart and you see them on that tablet or hand pad, and it's showing, okay, this is out of stock. You need to take this off of stock because it's no longer in stock. Or this is here. It tells you everything. There's human error, and then there's people can.
Yeah, then there's AI
they
error.
can code it wrong. And while that is true, it's still the same. It's still the same issue that you're going to experience, even with humans. But it's the fact of you still need to work. And if an AI is doing everything for you, it's not something that you really want to encourage per se, but it is something that happens. So here on the screen, we have perplexity of the iPhone. This is an AI. You can ask it anything.
Just like Google.
Well, yeah, but it pulls the stuff from the web. Same as here.
That's not creepy at all.
But what if we ask about
That's the age.
Santa?
That's the age of
This is our own
technology.
chat. Erudition Generations.
Imagine said something real dark about them, so it wasn't even true. You're fighting allegations.
But in all honesty, if we're being honest, the thing about it is technology can work like this. For instance, because what I'm trying to say is, obviously, I'm not saying that humans should be replaced in any sort of way and that we should become lazy and unwilling to do work. Because if anything, what's going to happen is eventually there'll be more technicians in the workplace.
But
because if a robot breaks down, it's going to need to be fixed up.
Where does it stop? Because as Elliot just said, even before we entered the topic.
Well, world destruction, of course. Where else would it stop? Because if anything, what's going to happen is exactly what you just said. Somebody's going to be like, why do I need to breathe? I can get a robot to move my lungs for me.
The thing is, if you say, well, I got Elliot just said, I wish I had this when I was such and such age. What happens if he did? When people do grow up around that technology?
Oh, they're probably going to fail.
Then it just becomes commonplace. I don't have to do this because this thing's already going to take care of it.
And then,
oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, and then those theories about the robots taking over would become true.
No, then everybody could just make a mess, and then a magical cleanup fairy would just appear. Actually, make a giant mess in a movie theater, and then you'll go in the next day, and it'll be completely gone.
With some people missing too.
If we look at iRobot, Marvel Ultron is a good example, or even Terminator. Do you think we will ever get to the point where AI thinks humans are the problem?
Oh, that is believable.
Because remember, like the people were doing studies on the chatbots, like those Facebook's one, and they started talking in code, and they were like, "Oh crap, we got to shut them down."
Yeah, to be honest, I'm sure because we ourselves acknowledge that we are a parasite. We go ahead and be like, we're burning down forests, we're destroying
And I
we're
think
destroying the world.
that right
And
there is the
robots,
main
they
issue.
can learn
Robots are going to
sharper
make an
stuff.
even better decision. They'll automatically assess that without
We
any
see
hint of
ourselves
emotion.
Yeah, because they don't have emotions.
because that's the thing. We see ourselves like that. So if somebody programs that in there, and then we always try to see ourselves get around our own way, get out of our own way, and the robot says, "There's an ultimate way to get out of your own way. You just not be here."
Yeah, but to
And
be fair, there's also the fact that though we say that we're trying to get out of our own ways,
We don't.
we don't. We do not. There are a majority of people who go like, I'm harming the environment. Yeah, why should I care? I'm not going to be around for very long. Somebody else can deal with it.
Yeah, but you're killing yourself doing that.
So they're not going to be. Think about the saying: we're
Yeah.
here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately, that's the new thing that's being said out here, which is stupid.
YOLO.
And
That was real popular. YOLO.
I think
Only
that.
live once.
But do you know where that really stemmed from? Somebody was playing a game. It came from somebody playing a game that they knew you're not going to be playing a game forever. One of these times you're going to turn on a game. It's happened a couple of times. People had the NES from Nintendo and have probably never touched it again, even if they have it.
Yep, just like Mario.
There's some things, and people get so invested in a video game. It's like, I can do this. I'm gonna be on here forever. I'm gonna be the master of this game. But if you master a game, well, the next one comes out, then what? So that's where it came. That's where that saying came. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I'm not going to be on this platform forever. But while I'm here, I'm gonna have a good time. And then people said, "Oh, that would be a good quote for everything," because when it sounds catchy or it sounds good to somebody, they go on the bandwagon of it's got to be good for everything. And when you compare it to life, it don't make any sense. Because if you want to have longevity in life, you probably don't want to exercise that philosophy.
Hold on, we have technology that can actually clean up certain areas, but people do not use it.
No,
Why?
they use Roombas.
No, I'm saying and like cleaning the ocean a little bit.
And people were scared of Roombas because they thought it was recording their house.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's always going to be the thing with technology.
Oh yeah, and like that Mario Kart racing thing. That was cool.
Yeah, because it's always going to be the problem that with technology, there's always going to be somebody trying to look in and use it as spyware. So they're going to be like, well, as long as it's got a camera, as long as it's got a sensor, I can see everything it sees. Which is the problem with technology.
Can AI...
That AI website is pulling data from different sources. I'm gonna need y'all to read that last part. It is
what's cutting out sometimes.
Wrong because it's not.
It is regurgitating data, and many times it does not based on nice thoughts.
I don't like how it's cutting out. Sometimes that today.
It is that's really all that an AI does. Even with Alexa, which you gotta lower your tone when you say her name because she's quite literally everywhere.
Well,
your phone,
actually,
and Bixby.
Some AIs, people programmed to agree with. Can an AI?
Yeah.
Well, here we deep.
Yes, an AI can kill.
Can. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a good example for that. Let's say you're listening to Siri on the navigation system for Google Maps.
She just turns on the speaker's max volume and you bleed out from your ears.
What?
Oh,
God. That sounds horrible.
That would be a great horror movie idea.
I mean, there is that Megan. horror movie, as well as many other horror movies
But that's
about AI.
And then we can also take advantage.
That's a robot.
Some AIs.
That's an
AIs.
AI inhabiting an actual physical robotic being.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's pretty much what we're moving towards.
Yes.
And they can kill because
what
when
I would
people
say
were
is that
if
if you allow the AI program to
to
steer
sit
you
there
into the lake,
and linger,
and you go, well, it says that I'm going to be dry. It says that there's a road here. It says I should keep going this way, regardless of the sign saying dead end ahead.
Yeah,
and you just keep on driving and driving until you're doomed.
I have a better example. Y'all remember Momo, that thing that was driving people to end their own life? That's a really good example because it would grab their information and then threaten to do things even if they didn't do it. And yeah.
And there we go. Can't AI kill from its own AI?
However, there has been instances where autonomous robots have caused harm to humans. Additionally, there is concerns for potential misuse of AI, which would make sense. Let's say you have an AI operating a saw. AI, for a while, remember that one commercial that they had for one of the Super Bowls, and Alexa was in charge of the microwave, and she didn't know that nothing was in there, and just blew up the house because somebody had left metal in the microwave.
Yeah, that I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. That sounds.
It was a Super Bowl commercial. I have to show one of y'all that, and because it was making fun of Alexas everywhere, and she was controlling the stove, the microwave, the sink, a bunch of things that she should not be controlling.
And yes,
AI but I think my idea stands still because Momo will be the best example of that because it was.
But you could go even deeper than that. For instance, most people who have robots say don't do this or don't do that because of the fact that it either has electricity running to it. It has moving gears which could cut off different parts of your body if you put it in there.
Let's not mistake AI, which is artificial intelligence, for robots. Robot is a tool. That's what it is.
Yeah, and like Elliot said, it could go ahead and
take your information.
If you're in a factory,
it could take your information.
Yeah, if you're in a factory and you have all these things going on, guess what?
Yeah. It can also kill that way. There's many ways AIs can kill.
It's a robot. But AI can do, if you give AI access to those robots, then yes, there is a potential that things can go wrong, even if it's out of error because it misunderstood what you said.
And I hate self-driving
because you didn't pronunciate a word properly.
Yeah.
So
but,
let's say you say be Pacific, and she decides
specific.
Now accessing sounds.
I'm gonna get on you with the same thing you've gotten on us
now
about.
Accessing the Pacific Ocean, sounds of the Pacific Ocean.
Don't try to change the subject. Don't try it. Don't try it.
We caught you, Daddy.
At max volume.
So that's what you would run into.
AI
are very specific.
Yeah, but like this comment says right here, an AI is an extension. It can be used in robots and automobiles. So the thing about it is, an AI is just it can kill you. Rather, it's somebody using that AI to go ahead and because think about it like this: an AI can be used by a hacker to go ahead and grab your information so they can find you.
Yep.
It could be used. It could be put into a robot to go ahead and actually harm you, or it could be put into
I heard mention of food. We have used technology to engineer food. As we advance technology, more engineering of the food we eat will likely continue this practice. Is that good?
I mean,
it's kind of like what y'all said just now. It's factory food.
Yeah, I want to say it's necessary.
Lab-grown meat.
Yes, but automated foods is not actually good for you.
I
Unless it's
would say I wouldn't say it's too bad because vegans and stuff and how they're always looking for an alternative to meat and stuff, and people are starting to make lab grown meat.
Yeah,
So
but if we're being quite honest, lab grown meat doesn't sound
yeah, it doesn't
appetizing,
sound
and
good.
it
It
also
sounds
sounds
like a
incredibly.
virus or
Yeah,
something.
it sounds incredibly dangerous because how labs are where viruses as
Yeah,
well as
trying
all
to
sorts of
gonna make
Well,
venom real.
I would argue that the reason that it
Venom
is
rap.
dangerous is because it is not a natural thing. It is a man-made thing, and
Yeah,
man keeps on making things very far
man, it's
that they shouldn't be doing. For instance, if you try and
we're at
replicate
35 minutes.
fish meat because you don't want to kill the fish, and you say, "Well, replicate fish meat,"
now you're dying of an unknown disease.
that shouldn't be happening. But we want to go into food materialization.
Can AI punish? You can finish your thought
AI
before we move on to that.
Yeah, Ty, you could move. You could continue
your
that
thought,
thought
yeah.
before we
Well,
move
yeah,
on to.
we'll do that. So let's say, for instance, just like Star Trek, they materialize meat. I think that's really what they want to get into, and they're not saying it. Like,
Well,
but
that
the
is a
thing
pretty cool
is,
idea.
but the
So
thing
this
is, where would you get that
obesity
from?
gonna go?
I
So
mean,
they got to work out the kinks of what that is, and I would
Mhm.
consider using real meat.
Yeah, I would choose real meat before I go to the store and say some lab meat. That's what I want. And go.
but think about it like this. Think about it like this. Lab meat could be anything. They could mix a cow and a pig to actually make a different type
Yeah,
of
that's what I'm
beef or
scared of.
pork. But it could be good too. It could be
Yeah, it could be
absolutely delicious.
but also poison. And they, you
I
want
mean,
to be a tester? Like they do be testing their medicine. They be testing the medicines. I forgot what they're called.
This medicine.
Isn't AI
Yeah,
being
but they
programmed to punish
vaccines.
when it's told to shut off your child's internet, or when it is told to shut your electricity off and lock the doors? Is it it cut off again? Can y'all see
isn't
that?
an extension of someone's desire.
That's all it said.
Yeah.
Okay. Left without adjustments, it can be used to punish.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
you-
AI can punish.
Okay.
and in fact,
I
it
will
already it could be argued that would already be doing that, because if you ask Alexa turn on the lights, and then after a while
Yeah.
she turns them off because you just left them running, well,
Yeah.
that could also be viewed as
Abuse.
a punishment, a punishment, not abuse.
Abuse.
No,
What does Alexa do? Fling
A
towards you?
punishment of leaving the lights on, because let's say you're actually using the light and it's like, no, we're not using the light right now, and she shuts it off. So it can be used to punish, and if AI is still continued to be used as a tool where it has to go through somebody's desires, then the AI, and then the AI responds in kind with the robot that's connected to, well, then there you go.
Yeah,
It could
because
be-
Nintendo is already kind of doing that. Because remember the parental control guy that we watched?
Yeah, and that is an access to the internet, and then it could shut it off just from that device. It doesn't have access to your whole home web, but it can say, we're no longer going to be receiving internet from this device, and closes off. They will use human proteins also. Do you know in some places it is not illegal to eat human
Yes.
meat? Yes.
Well, yeah.
Unfortunately.
To be quite honest, the only illegal part for human meat consumption is the fact you have to kill a human in order to get it.
Yeah.
It doesn't really
So-
explain where you have to get it.
Or we're gonna go back to eating mummy meat.
It's disturbing.
What you mean? It's just beef jerky.
And the sad part about
What?
They don't tell you what's in those tombs. It could be a good doll.
the sad part about having robots now, Oh, and the best part about having
No.
robots now, well, not now, later on.
Well, we have robots now. We do.
Yeah, to be quite honest, we do
Yeah,
have
but
robots right now,
I mean
Matthew.
in physical form.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are in physical form.
Remember those robot dogs as well as those robot helpers that roll around the house?
And Google recently released a robot that
Yeah, they can lock.
Goes to your kitchen,
door.
picks stuff up, and
Mhm.
gives
She
it to you.
can. So Alexa or any other AI device that you allow
She can hear you.
to access
oh
a tool, she can lock doors and keep them locked as
keep them
long as
locked.
or the programmer thinks they should be locked.
Yeah.
No.
Which
Yeah,
they
all
have,
until
which they do have, because in an instance
Mhm.
when they leave children home alone, they were afraid that they would walk out of the house and that would be a problem. So they say, well, keep the doors locked. So no matter what you do internally, the door will not open.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but for
And
that,
whatever happens outside, it will not open.
And Alexa
Which
controlling
could be that would be a fire hazard.
Alexa controlling
But
that at a power. Just imagine a robber yelling, "Alexa, turn on
Yeah.
here."
I mean, yeah,
That would be kind of scary.
that's exactly what I mean. Because we were joking about that a couple of days ago. Because until they make voice recognition for the AI, all
Yeah,
it takes
people-
is for some weirdo to be outside your window and say, "Alexa, lock the door."
Look,
You just watch the door unlock.
We're clinging onto the ceiling
we
of the
cloned,
goddamn roof.
so Eric says we cloned the first sheep in 1996 daily. Oh, Dolly.
Dolly. Does
You
the
thought they
future
did
of
it
climate
daily?
play a part in our future
I told you it keeps cutting
as our
out.
technology advances? Yeah, I'd say so, because I was recently watching a video where they cloned a dog and it had the same traits and did the same things as the previous dog, which is kind of messed up if you really think about it.
Well,
So,
they did
yeah.
that because people that can't bear departing with their dog when life
Yeah.
is over. And I just see
Yeah,
the
I'd rather
really
depart
cold-
with my dog than keep him.
But it goes into the like Frankenstein thought of it.
Mhm.
Is it morally correct? Because think about it.
It's not really
Because
healthy
think
for
about
you.
it. You're pretty much simulating human life. That's I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That is an act of God to me.
Yeah, that's something you
Bringing
should be
something
doing.
to life and then watching it walk around. You know, every single day that you have cloned something, and that there might be some sort of eternal consequence or freaking some sort of punishment
Yep.
in it, or some sort of repercussion for what you have done. Doesn't matter what you think or what you believe. You know something bad is going to happen since I simulated this life.
Some
I
lightning
can
goes
get
strike
that.
every time you
Exactly.
call
I
the
can
dog's
get your
name.
feeling from that because, yeah, nature abhors gradients. In the law of nature, it doesn't have any gradients. And if you provide nature with any, it wants to expel them. Does it? It's really when do we keep doing it and where does it end? Because if we say, oh man, we have the perfect president, let's go and clone him, then that could be a problem.
Yeah, but think about it like
The
this.
president is sick of y'all.
Humans don't know when to stop.
Yeah.
We always see a good thing as it's going to be good until it's not. So we will probably clone something until there is a very big problem.
And then war is going to be real confusing.
Exactly. You're going to be like, I already got that dude.
All
50
right,
more?
We need to finish this.
Yeah, we need to wrap it up because we're almost at an hour.
Yes. So
Let's just sit here for the rest of the time.
No, rapid fire
No.
questions. We're gonna go through these.
Yep.
Let's-
Short
All right.
answers, short but sweet answers. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Ready, set, let's get done. Some parents have said there needs to be law. I'm gonna read from here because it's doing some crazy things again.
Yeah.
There needs to be a law for that children from higher school and young
From high school and younger should not be allowed to be online from 10:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. Thoughts?
Um,
No, thank you.
I
Because
mean,
it just threw in a bunch of numbers. It went real crazy.
Well, to be quite honest, I believe that children should have some time to play. Because the thing about it is, you're not going to give them the several hours of rest that studies have found from various schools, those same that go and be like, well, you don't get to sleep that long.
Yeah,
We did the study for us.
Sadly enough, one of my friends ends get out at 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's 6 a.m., which means
No,
no, I'm not really seeing it correctly
Well,
because
I would
on
say-
that one that mom sent, I didn't get it.
I would say that, yeah, while it's important to get the 8 hours of sleep, your minds rest differently. Somebody's mind may rest just by talking to their friends at like 2 a.m, and then they're finally able to drift to sleep and they wake up refreshed.
Yeah, but that's probably incredibly annoying for their friends. They're like, go to sleep already.
Hey, you're just
Would you want to
like,
be cloned? No, I'm good.
What you mean?
If I was a clone, eventually one is gonna be evil. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna be running around with a mustache. How'd you get that mustache?
Exactly. Gotta put the G's in there for the curly mustache.
Would you want to be cloned as continue?
No.
Look for ways to extend.
Yeah,
life?
that's some act against God, and I don't
As
think you
Elliot
want to be
just
doing
said, there
that.
will eventually be an evil one, so I guess
Mhm.
no for him immediately.
no.
It's gonna be my name, but backwards.
You
If I
die,
did-
your evil clone is the only one left, and they gotta fulfill all your needs. You gonna be sitting there like, please tell my children I love them. They run to your children, kick them,
Besides, I don't think
and then run out.
If
Even
I
at
see
the way that,
if I see a clone of me, I'm taking it out.
even with
On a
the
date.
show in y'all seen Invincible, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where
I
the
believe.
dude clones himself, and then the other clone doesn't know who it is, who's the original. They
Oh
swear
yeah,
they're
that could
the
also
original and
cause
what that
really
is.
bad mental problems.
And the thing is that, okay, you cloned yourself, and the dude died. The real person died, but his mind lives on in another person's body. So that's great that you can be cloned, but the real you is still going to go. That's the other show, like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, but think about it like this, though. You could finally you could get rid of every other human, clone yourself, you could finally have a world all to yourself.
Yeah,
And you will finally have have equality. You'll have the world you've always wanted.
No,
Yeah,
it
All
one
you have
won't.
to
person
do
is
is
a
have
peaceful
us.
It's
person.
not like you share the same thoughts. It's gonna be some Papa Wars running around.
Exactly. You can have different personalities, and you just sit down on the moon and watch everybody fight. You're just like,
See, if I'm crazy, you don't want to see my clones, because after a few, like maybe 50 years, you're gonna see me on top of buildings, and there's gonna be multiple of me.
No,
Well,
I'm pretty sure you and your clones would just wreak havoc upon people. Just go down alleys, scream, run out.
Nope, I'll secretly climb up until I'm president, and then
And then what? You gonna be like, you're a
cloning
buffoon. You voted in a
being
clone.
allowed and legalized. Soon the
Cloning
automation
should
will
be
be
illegal. Straight.
clone processed meat and distributed. I'm just going along as it's continuing. We are conditioned phrases of progress.
Yeah, but
I
it
hope
goes.
that's what it said. It's breaking up. But the thing is that Elliot brought up a good point. In 50 years, because the clone will start as a baby, and then you move it,
Oh yeah, somebody tried.
and
cloning
then
their
you
friend.
grow it up, and it looks like the same person. But human evolution, what happened? How would that evolve?
Oh yeah.
Would it?
I saw
How would
something
human
on
evolution change due to that? So in like 50 years after, how would that look? So
Yeah, but think about it like this: for the short term, when clones and stuff, when we find out that we can clone humans, there'll be a bunch of stuff that needs to be figured out first. Should human rights be given to the clones? Should Should clones be treated? In other words, should clones be treated the same as humans? Are clones just are clones expendable people? Can we go ahead and give them whatever job we so desire, no matter how dangerous, and pay them the same as a human? It's
No.
pretty much. It'll pretty much be what in the world can we do with clones?
Clone minorities?
Actually,
That's
Pretty much.
wrong.
It'll be stuff like, is slavery
God,
okay?
slavery
Is
2.0. No, we don't need that.
Yeah,
Um,
we go right
that's
back
1
down.
hour?
We go
Oh,
right
wait.
back to where we began.
Okay,
We are
so this is
we are
our-
testing cloning
Speeding
body
through.
parts to replace failing hearts, kidneys, livers, etc. Clones can be used as replacement parts, and that's the thing that's being said.
Okay.
You open the door to a lot of things, but are they correct? But
Yeah,
yes,
'cause-
it has been a very eventful episode. I think this was a very good topic. Y'all had a lot to say about this one.
Yes.
But then again, it's technology, and even when me and Papa were coming up,
I think we kind of, to be quite honest, I think we kind of stepped out of technology and into what happens if the future holds clones and test tube baby.
AI, you touched on AIs, and then you went from that to cloning. There's a lot of things that's happening in the future, and it's important to address them because they may become the reality.
Okay, please like, share,
subscribe, and
follow.
share.
Our TikTok and Facebook, and we'll see you.
Nah, bro, I'm not part of y'all generation. I'm an old guy.
Yes. Well, Matthew closed out. Y'all closed out.
Okay, closing statements.
The world is going to be a good place when I'm gone.
When I'm gone, what does that mean? My closing statement: vote me for president. Thank you.
No, please, no. This is a horrible idea. This is horrible. Well, Tay, anything you want to say?
Well, thanks for tuning in to Erudition Generations. As always, it is a pleasure to interact with you all and give our thoughts on what we think the world is doing and hearing where you think the world is going. Now, Papo, your closing statements?
Well, like I said, the world is a horrible place sometimes, but it's a beautiful place. In all honesty, I believe that even if the future comes, there'll be people who try to do right and see the moral route to take. In all honesty, though the future seems to filled with clone meat and all this other stuff, I'm sure that some human will come along and say, yes, this is morally wrong, or so forth.
What did Eric ask? What's the topic for next week? Well, that is a good question.
Well,
we'll leave it up to the audience on what do you want to hear. Type in the comments. We always review them and see what do y'all want to talk about for our next topic. But as of right now,
it depends.
We must be going.
Yeah, it really does.
Yes.
It's
time for us to go play the piano in the background.
The jazz, Papo. It's jazz.
What we're playing.